The Dechambros are back.
We are back.
This is season 1, episode 22. We are on to the Memorial Tournament presented by Workday.
By Workday. That's actually pretty funny. You know what's funny about that is during the COVID season, they actually ran a makeshift tournament called the Workday at Muirfield, which was won by somebody we'll talk about a little bit later tonight. But before I kind of get into all of that, you are 100% correct. This is Memorial Tournament. It's at Jack's place at Muirfield.
It sure is.
So Muirfield Golf Club, Shane, is consistently ranked inside the top 5 of toughest tournaments each year, if you didn't know. Feels like it's been the last few weeks they've been at pretty tough tournament placements. But, you know, pretty exciting. In some seasons, this is actually placed tougher than major championships. Muirfield Village Golf Club is a par 72 scorecard displaying a 7,500 and, wait for it, 69 yards of great Golden Bear golf.
Nice.
Many experts agree that this is the best and the greatest 18 holes of golf that Jack himself helped to develop. This year, it includes 4-inch rough, 68 bunkers, small bent grass greens, and the greens are small, not the grass. The winning score should probably sit around 9 or 10 under today, or this weekend, sorry. This week, taking a look at the field, I was looking at strokes gained total, approach shots, sand saves, and scrambling, which is going to help build my betting profiles.
Cool, yeah. Absolutely love seeing Muirfield every single year. Love how involved Jack still is with the tournament and on the grounds. And big story coming out of Muirfield this week is, of course, no Rory, right?
And from what I heard, no phone call either.
That's what I was just going to get to. I mean, I just talked about how nice it is and how involved Jack is. And I was watching, you know, a couple of different clips and some interviews, and one of the big things that we noticed was, of course, Rory not showing up, not giving a phone call to Jack. I mean, how important is it to call Jack? I'd say pretty damn important, man. That guy just, you know, paved the road that you drive on every single day. So a little bit interested. I mean, I can see why Rory's skipping it in terms of where the schedule is. He's coming up to Canada next week. So trying to play 4 weeks in a row leading up to a major championship is just a lot of golf. But with the Memorial being a signature event and with Rory kind of leading the charge earlier this year in terms of, you know, these are mandatory events, and this is going to be his third one he doesn't play in this year. It's kind of an interesting dynamic of what's going on in the PGA Tour right now, and really what is going on in Rory's brain, right?
Yeah, I think, I mean, you had this conversation with me the other day. I think, truthfully, it's more of a fuck you to the tour, right? For everything he's been through. And it makes me wonder, like, I don't know the answer to this, but if he doesn't win the Masters, does he show up to Memorial?
That's a great question, because in my mind, I mean, I'm kind of conflicted in terms of, is this a big fuck you to the tour in terms of, you know, I put my heart and my soul into defending you and you didn't defend me back, and, you know, the place that it put him in mentally and the place that it put him in physically with his golf game and how he was performing. And I mean, in my mind, I think that Rory is in that kind of killer Rory mentality mindset that we've grown to love and we want to see. And I think that, you know, he won the Masters. He obviously didn't fare as well as we were hoping for on the PGA. And I think that his mindset is solely on Rory and only Rory, and that's all that matters. And I'm really excited to see how that translates into his golf game the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I'm team the Canadian Open should be a signature event. Like when we moved to this
100%.
signature event style event thing, I felt like the national events should have been the propped up events, right? And especially the way it's set up where the US Open's right after, you have a lot of people that don't show up to the Canadian Open, right? And that bums me out a lot. So for Rory to say, you know, I'm passing on Muirfield and I'm going to go to the Canadian Open, I'm pumped about that specifically.
I love it.
I would rather him miss this than miss the Canadian Open if I had to pick. But at the same time, I so much would rather prefer the Canadian Open be, a propped up event. And I do think that this event deserves to be propped up as well. I just feel like the timing of everything sucks. You can't have 3 of these events in a row, PGA a week prior. Like, I get why, I just don't like it.
Yeah, and it's tough because when it comes to these signature events, like how many can you have in a year before it kind of loses its valor and it loses its importance? And I mean, I don't want to see more signature events because then they don't matter anymore again, right? But I agree with you. I think that there's definitely some moving around in terms of where they are in the schedule and what should be and what shouldn't be. And clearly bias over here, but for sure the Canadian Open consistently performs and in my mind is deserving of that spot for sure. But let's move on because we're not at the Canadian Open yet.
We are not.
For next episode. This episode is all about the Memorial, and let's get right down into the dirty, the nitty gritty, and let's talk about the players that we have picked going into this week. So
love that. Before we do, Shane, if I can just throw in a quick little betting tidbit here, because I found this really interesting and it'll kind of help as we're talking about our players here.
I love it. Let's get after it.
So we've had 6 signature events already on tour this year, right? So we've had 6 winners. In those 6 starts, the average winners pre-tournament odds were plus 2,700. None were higher than plus 4,000 in Russell Henley and Sepp Straka, who both were at plus 4,000, and none were lower than plus 1,400 in Rory McIlroy. The average OWGR, Official World Golf Rankings, before winning is 9th. And so those same 6 individuals are now all ranked inside the top 10 of the Official World Golf Ranking in Hideki, Rory, Ludwig, Russell, Justin Thomas, and Sepp Straka, who now is 9th. After his win a few weeks ago.
Cool. All right. So, yeah, favorites don't fare well, it seems.
The absolute favorite, but it seems to be that top 10 point.
I was going to say, I think that's a little bit misconstrued in terms of like the favorite going into every single one of these
has been Scotty. We get it,
right?
Yeah.
And it's the same kind of discrepancy we have going into this week. I mean, Scotty's plus 200 and something, and everybody else is into the thousands. So I think we're going to continue to see that trend. But hey, everybody in the top 10, it's going to be a bloodbath out there. So really excited to see where we go and kind of interested in terms of where my picks end up after that interesting stat. So I'm going to start off with my top 20 bet for this week.
Let's get to it.
My top 20 bet for Memorial, Tanner, is going to be none other than Big Tone. I got Tony Finau at plus 110. I mean, this is Tony's first tournament coming back after his T19 finish in the PGA Championship, okay? Before the PGA Championship, he finished T15 in the Truist. So he's been playing well consistently through. And I mean, we talked about him a few weeks back. I feel like Tony's one of those players that has the game and has those consistencies to be talked about more often. But he also has those consistencies that kind of keep him away from us, right? But, I mean, he does have a reputation of being a very consistent player on tour. If we take a look at this year, I mean, he started off really hot this year. He had a T13 at the AT&T, T5 at the Genesis. He cooled off a little bit after that. Missed the cut at the Players, missed the cut at the Masters, but I mean, in the last couple of tournaments, he seems to have kind of found something and found a rhythm to his game, and I'm really looking forward to him continuing that into the Memorial, because when we look at his history at the Memorial, I mean, he plays
He's
well
been
here.
decent here, yeah.
Last 3 showings in 2020, he finished 8th, 2021, T32, so a little bit of an off year, but last year, in 2024, he finished 8th as well, so at the odds being plus 110, I thought Tony Finau was a great option to be able to have as a safe bet up in the tops, but still going to have, a really good showing this week.
You know what? One of the things I recognized when I was doing research on this course here is that players are very inconsistent. Like there's a lot of I finished high this year, and then I missed the cut that year, or I finished T60th that year, right? It's just a hard course in general, right?
For sure.
And so I think that, having 2 top 10 finishes in a 3-year period is really strong. I love Big Tone. I feel like he's Captain America in a sense. I know that's reserved for our guy Keegs, but just in the sense of like the true family man, like he is one of the best spokespersons for the tour because of who he is in general.
For sure.
But he's kind of flying under the radar this year. So I'm interested in this pick. I like it a lot. And I'm kind of, only time will tell on how Big Tone's going to do this weekend here.
Yeah. Big Tone, great representative for the tour, great role model just as a great, solid human being and a family man. And let's see a great showing out of you this week, Tone.
Let's do it. All right. So for myself, I'm kind of reaching out of the woodworks on this one because it's somebody we haven't really talked about before. But when I get into this, you're going to kind of understand why I picked him here. Okay. So I'm going with Siwoo Kim for a top 20, and that's at -110 right now, the odds. Last 5 finishes here. Okay. T15, a 4th, T13, T9, T18. 5 in a row cashing this bet. Okay. He's got 4 top 20s, in his last 5 starts on tour as well. So he's in good form. He's 20th strokes gained total. He's 52nd strokes gained approach. And he's great at scrambling and sand saves. So he's ranking 12th and 11th in both of those statistics there. He's 21st in putting. Honestly, I don't know why we haven't talked about him more. He has been doing great recently on tour. And I'm really excited to bring Siwoo Kim up for the first time on the podcast for a top 20 at -110.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Big Tone kind of flying under the radar. That's been Siwoo Kim, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've consistently seen his name on these leaderboards, but we consistently refuse to talk about him. And I really don't know why. Like, I absolutely love this pick for you. I absolutely love the history that he has the last 5 years, cashing this bet, top 20. I mean, he's got a couple of top 10s sprinkled in there in a one top 5. I mean, It's those odds, right, at -110. It's a little bit of an opposite day. I got +110, you got -110. But, I mean, when you're talking about 100 there, you're talking about really even money. And I don't mind his last 4 finishes here. He's got, T17 at the Truist, T8 at the PGA, a T28 at the Charles Schwab. Like, he does have 3 missed cuts out of 10 starts so far this season. So a little bit of an up and down season, like you said. But, I mean, every time he's made the cut, he's performed. And 100%. We're talking about a signature event here. He's going to make the cut because there is none.
Yep.
So we can only bet on him performing. I absolutely love this pick for you and Siwoo Kim. For sure.
Honestly, I think at these odds, it's a safe-ish, put in one of your parlays there. So, Siwoo Kim -110, top 20. I love it.
Beautiful. I'm going to move on, and I'm going to talk about my top 10 pick. And it seems like, the theme of this podcast is going to be bringing up players that we've never brought up before, okay? My top 10 pick I have this week, Tanner, is none other than Tommy Fleetwood at +185. So, I mean, when we think about Tommy Fleetwood, again, he's one of those consistent players that's always up there in the leaderboard, but I feel like his reputation is dragged down because he's never won on the PGA Tour. Very, very successful career over on the European Tour, but just doesn't seem to be able to get it done on a Sunday. A whole lot of runner-ups in his career with the PGA Tour, but he's never been able to close it out. I mean, this week, I don't need him to close it out. Yep. I just need him to top 10. And I really love how he's been playing this year. And I'm going to go through this. So he started off the 2025 season super hot. T5 at the Genesis, T11 at the Arnold Palmer, a T14 at the Players, and a T16 at the Valspar. So crazy start to his season. His last 3 PGA Tour events, the RBC Heritage, he finished 7th, T4 at the Truist, and a T4 at the Charles Schwab. His majors so far have been, kind of basic, a little bit middle of the pack. I mean, T21 at the Masters, nothing to kind of shake your head at, but a T41 at the PGA Championship. Other than that, I mean, he's having an all-time season.
He's having a great year.
He's only played the Memorial once before,
Yep.
and that was, his previous showing last year. He finished T20 there, but he's having an incredible year so far. I was looking at him, and I was kind of fighting between Big Tone and Tommy Fleetwood for that top 20, just being a little bit more safe. The odds for Tommy weren't there in the top 20. They were there in the top 10, and I believe in Tommy Lad. I think that this is a great week where Tommy's going to be able to put his ball striking on display and show us why he needs to continue to come up when we're talking about our bets.
I love that. I mean, I love that pick for you. Tommy's feels like one of those kind of guys that he's going to get his first win as a major.
Yeah.
Like,
I could see
it wouldn't surprise me. You know what I mean? Because like, he's not off that, you know what I mean? Like that far off of winning at any event. And he's had some high finishes in majors as well. It wouldn't surprise me if that would be when he makes his breakout, right? And actually gets a win. But in what you're saying, the one thing that kind of strikes me, with Tommy is the last time I recognized his name this high on the leaderboard or on the betting odds board was at the Truist. And I was like, man, why? He doesn't deserve to be up there. He finished fourth. I can't do that again. I'm not going to go against it. I like the pick. And it's at what? Plus 185, you said?
185.
That's decent odds. I do like it. Perfect.
Can't complain. Who you got at your top 10 spot there, brother?
Yeah, so top 10 for me. We're going to share odds almost here at plus 180. I've got Patty Ice.
We are close in our picks. I love it.
Patrick Cantlay. So Patrick has won twice at Muirfield in 2019 and 2021. Famously, Jack redesigned the course after his win in 2021 when he won at minus 19, I believe. And since then, we haven't had anyone win at more than minus 10, I believe, or minus 11. Anyways, he hasn't had as much luck in the past few years there, right? But he did get a T3 in 2022. Cantlay's having a quiet year so far, but he's got 3 top 5s and 6 top 25s in 11 tournaments this year. T5 at the American Express, T5 at the Genesis, and a T4 at the Truist. But again, he's yet to really break through in 2025. Taking a little bit of a deeper look into his stats there, Shaner, he's got 11th on tour strokes gained total. He's 10th strokes gained approach. He's 2nd greens in regulation. But he hasn't really had his best year scrambling around the greens, right? However, with 2 wins at this course previously, he can put it together when he needs to. I think that the last outing we saw him was the PGA, and he got cut from the PGA Championship. I think that might scare some people, but for me, I think that's more of an outlier. It's his only missed cut of the entire year. It's another hard course, right? I'm banking on Patty Ice to let us know why he plays so slow this weekend with a top 10 finish.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I have a love-hate thing for Patty Ice, and I really think it stems from the slow play. I mean, since the new rules have come in, I mean, he's definitely ranked back up in terms of a faster player. So it's not as big of a concern for me kind of, in the last few tournaments. And I mean, you already mentioned it. He's got 3 top 5s this season already. There is no denying that when Patrick Cantlay is on his game, he is on his game. I think that this is another great pick out of you. It's going to be a competitive week, I think, with the 4 picks that we've got so far. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than what you've already touched on. I love that pat for you.
All right, let's get to it. I think we should get to somebody that we're fading right now before we get into our top 5s. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of guys that were up there in the betting favorites that I really, really, really do not like going into this week.
All right, who do you got?
Okay, I'll start. So let me just scroll down here and get to my notes, and I'm going to take a moment of silence because I'm fading one of my absolute favorite players on tour.
I live for this moment.
This is a guy that I have ridden very hard for. I have defended.
This is my favorite.
Fought for. and it pains me to say.
I can see the pain in your face.
I'm fading Ludwig this week. Okay. And there's some reasoning behind it. I mean, this season has been really tough for me as a Ludwig fan watching him. Okay. I mean, he has won already. So we've had some celebration at the Genesis. Okay. He finished 7th at the Masters. So he's had some good showings. He has shown me glimmers of hope. And it's just had me kind of hanging on there, hoping for the best. I mean, Ludwig has what it takes to be a top 5 player in the world. And in my heart and in my soul, I truly believe that he is that guy. But he just hasn't shown it this season, which makes me weary and say that I'm not going to see it coming out of him this week as well. Right. So I love you, Ludwig. I am sorry, but I am fading Ludwig Aberg this week.
Yeah. I mean, so number one, he's the 7th best odds to win this tournament in the betting favors. Right. And I mean, I agree with you. Right. So he was T5 last year at this event, so that is there. But like you said, he's had such an up and down season. You did mention he's got the win at the Genesis. But he's only finished in the top 10 twice in his last 10 events, and he's missed 3 cuts in the last 10. So he's missed more cuts than he's finished in the top 10 of an event in the same time span. And so I agree, it's hard to have confidence in Luddy, right? But let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into some of the stats for Luddy just to kind of validate how we're feeling here. Strokes gained total, 111th on tour. Strokes gained approach, 136th on tour. Strokes gained putting, 141st on tour. Scrambling, 87th on tour. Sand save, 24th. So, that's remained a strength of his game. He's 19th strokes gained off the tee. And shockingly, he's first on tour, approach shots over 200 yards. But with the amount of missed cuts, with the amount of up and down play, I just can't put any confidence in him, knowing that they have him as the 7th favored golfer this week. The stats don't make sense as far as the numbers are concerned.
Yeah. I feel like the numbers coming out of Vegas is definitely on his name. And I think that they're trying to bait people into betting him off of his name and his name alone, knowing people are going to say, oh, okay, he's in there. They're going to put money on him, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I wrote this note down and I skipped over it because, again, it hurts my heart to say it. But you mentioned it already. He's missed 3 cuts. You mentioned it in 10 starts, but remember, he withdrew from the AT&T. So that's really 3 missed cuts out of 9 starts. And it's a painful stat. It hurts me to read. It hurts me to say out loud.
He's lucky to have a win this year because it saves every single thing.
Yeah, prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. But I do not see it, and I'm staying away from Ludwig for sure.
I agree. I agree with you on that one. Another one at the top of the betting charts this week is Collin Morikawa. He is the 3rd favorite. And as much as it pained you to say what you just said about our guy, your guy, Luddy, this one pains me because I've been a rider for Collin the last 4 weeks straight.
Yeah, and I believe if we roll the tape back, you called me crazy when I faded Collin.
Listen,
look at you now, brother.
First off, I called you crazy when you faded him at the Truist, and he did get my top 20. He finished T17.
That's fair. Okay.
Last week when you called me crazy, it was worthwhile calling me it. But here's the thing, okay? So, Collin Morikawa was the 3rd favorite to win this event here, right? 2nd last year and 2nd in 2021 with a pair of runner-ups this year already on tour. And he famously won a event at the Muirfields in 2020 during the COVID lockdown season. I mentioned a little bit earlier.
COVID Collin.
Yeah, it was the Workday Charity Open. It replaced the John Deere Classic, a one-time replacement. There was no fans present at that 2020 win there, right? Looking at his stats here, he's got great stats. Strokes gained total, 6th. Strokes gained approach, 7th. Strokes gained off the tee, 22nd. Greens in reg, 19th. Putting, 54th. A little bit of work there, right? But looking at his last 4 starts, T54 cut, T17, which was the first tournament with his new caddy there.
When I faded him, he shows up.
And then T50 at the PGA, right? And I'm just, after 4 weeks in a row of betting for my guy, going hard for him. I'm now in a category of I need to see more before I have you as my third favorite golfer to win a tournament. So I'm more fading the odds, not him himself. I love Colin. I love the stats. I love what he could do. I just third favorite golfer. There's no odd top 5, top 20, top 10 that I would like enough to put him in a pick this week.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely second that take completely. I mean, surprise, surprise. I faded him 2 weeks ago, and I'm agreeing with you this week. But, I mean, when you look into it, Colin is 4th in the world by OWGR standards, right? And, I mean, I can see where that came from with the totality, I guess I would say, of his season. I mean, he's been runner-up twice this year at the Century and the Arnold Palmer, okay? He's got himself a healthy amount of top 20s, highlights that with a T10 at the Players. So he's been playing well so far this year, and I get why he's in the standings where he is in the OWGR, but I'm going to agree. I mean, look at the last 4 tournaments. He's not playing right now like the 4th best golfer in the world. I don't see him pulling it off this week. I mean, if I pull up his history here at Memorial, he's done well. He's up and down, man. Like, so here's his last 5 years, okay?
Yep.
2020, T48, 2021, second.
Yep.
2022, missed the cut.
Yep.
2023, withdrew. 2024, second. So he's got 2 runners up. That's a huge, huge highlight. But he either comes in second or
it's up and down.
Exactly. So, I mean, I feel like if you're betting on Colin this week, it's a straight roll of the dice gamble. He has performed well here in the past. He has performed well this season, but he is not performing well right now. And he also has not performed well historically in the past year. So it's really too much of a guess and too much of a gamble. And I'm in it with you, man. Like, I like to feel confident in my bets. I don't like to just roll the dice on, hey, he's been hot and he's not, and this is the week he's going to be hot. Like, no, I want to see something leading up, and I've got nothing on paper leading up to this that has me confident in Colin Morikawa.
That's fair, man. That's fair. And I think that comment will play really well when I talk to you about my top 5 pick, because you might be able to say it about the person I'm about to tell you.
Who's your top 5 then? Dan, let's get right into it.
My top 5, I'm reaching at a plus 500 odds.
So you're rolling the dice. All right, there we go.
I think it's a calculated roll. We'll see here.
All right, okay.
Hideki Matsuyama. Okay, so famously, he won the Century early this year, first tournament, right? But since then, he's really only had 6 top 25s this year, okay? However, he ranks 3rd in scrambling, 2nd in sand save percentage, which is a strong, strong fit for this course. He also has a really good history at this course, okay? So he's finished T8th last year. He won it back in 2014, T5 in 2015, 6th in 2019. Okay, in between those strong finishes, you do have a missed cut in 2020, a T62 in 2021. So Hideki is a streaky player this year and at this course. Okay, so that is going to be on the table here. But his game has been crafted to kind of fit this course perfectly. The last 2 years, he finished with a T16 in 2023, and of course the T8 from last year. Coming off a disappointing T36 at the Charles Schwab and a missed cut at the PGA. So it doesn't look like his game is in a position where, you can see it leading up to this, right? This pick is all about course history and stats that are leading me to believe that this course fits his game, right? I'm looking for a bounce back week here and a top 5 finish from my guy and a green jacket winner in Hideki Matsuyama. Again, plus 500.
I mean, at this point, I might as well just fully lean into I'm a Hideki hater. I mean, I've been just on the fence of like, I don't actually hate him. I'm leaning into it. Call me a Hideki hater. Brother, there is nothing about Hideki's season so far that has me believing in any way, shape, or form that this is a good pick. And I mean, you want to talk about it, like, I'm all down to talk about course history, and let's highlight that T16, let's highlight that T8. get the fuck out of here with 2014 finishes and 2015 finishes. That was fucking 10 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry, most of the players weren't on the course 10 years ago, but he was, and he won it, and he won it against good players back then. So
10 years ago, you know how much shit changes in 10 years? I mean, look at Tiger Woods. He had 3 surgeries in 10 years. It's a completely different player. I mean,
Tiger won this at this course through different iterations of the course.
Okay, so let's stay on Hideki here. My point by bringing up Tiger was not to compare Hideki to Tiger at all, because that's just don't even.
I'm just saying.
My point is a lot changes in 10 years. I'm not even looking past that. I'm not looking past that. I also want to bring up that Hideki was famously disqualified in 2022 for cheating by putting a liquid paper-like substance on the front of his 3-wood to hit it straighter. So I'm leaning right.
I like it.
I'm leaning right into it. I will just embrace being a Hideki hater. He has only top 20'd twice this year, with his best finish all season long being a T13 back at the Genesis. He has missed the cut in 3 of 10 events that he has played.
There's nothing more that I want than to be right this week, just so that we can have a conversation about it next week.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm going to lean right into being a Hideki hater. I'm going to lean right into saying this is by far, I think, probably one of the worst takes that you've had on this podcast.
You know what?
I don't see
You
it.
might be right. The odds are very high that you could be very right, but there's also the slim chance that I just have a feeling about my guy, Hideki, and I have a feeling. So we'll see here.
All right, let's go by your feeling, and let's move on to mine, because I mean I don't see you disagreeing with this, but let's get into it. So
I'm going to just on the purpose of doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's argue, baby. Let's get into it. Top 5 bet this week that I have is Xander Schauffele. So
Our guy Xander. Okay.
with Xander, of course, he began this season very, very tough. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But if I look at his last 5 starts, okay, T12 at the Valspar, T8 at the Masters, T18 at the RBC, a T11 at the Truist, and then a T28 at the PGA Championship, okay? Again, there's no denying he struggled this season with injuries, and when he came back from his injury, he wasn't quite there, but what I'm seeing so far in the last 5 tournaments that he's played is he's back into form now, and that I can believe in Xander again, okay? Let's look at his starts at the Memorial. His last 5 starts, 2020, T13, 2021, T11, 2022, T18, 2023, T24, and last year, T8, okay? This is the biggest stat that really pushed it over the edge to make me pick Xander for top 5 this week. Xander is the 3rd best player in the world as per OWGR.
Yep.
Okay. Let's look at the 2 guys above him. Number 1 in the world, Scotty Scheffler. He's going up against a tired Scotty. Okay. So in terms of, going up against Scotty at his absolute best, I think he has a little bit of a leg up coming into this rested. There's no Rory in the field. That leaves the door wide open for Xander to be able to come in here, continue his good play that he's had the last 5 tournaments, continue his good history that he has at this golf course. And I think he's going to capitalize and get his first win in 2025 and set him up on a real good pace and have that great momentum going into the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I mean, so number 1, I'm a Xander guy, right? But to play devil's advocate, I would be more comfortable with a top 20 instead of a top 5. He's never top 5'd here. He hasn't top 5'd this year. And while he does seem to be a little bit back, he does not seem to be back, in my opinion, based on his finishes and based on not seeing his best finish of the year on Sunday at the Masters, not being able to see a single shot. So I can't really tell you how he played on his best day of the year so far. Now, I love Xander, right? And I'm not going to pick against Xander. I just would be so much more confident in a top 20 or even a top 10 out of him instead of a top 5. I mean, I would love to see it, right?
I mean,
I would love to see it.
Top 20 was, I think, minus
That's I know, and that's the issue, right? That's why I wouldn't play those odds with Xander for some reason. Like, it's just for me.
To me, when I was looking at it, and I'm trying to pick who I think is going to be an absolute lock for this top 5. To me, looking at the leaderboard, I'm going Scotty, I'm going Xander. Scotty's like -2 something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going.
Yeah, Scotty was minus 800 to top 20 this week, and I'm like,
it's crazy.
That's
it's
ridiculous.
crazy. So my decision, based on how he's been playing, how he's played historically at this tournament, and where the odds were, I got Xander on my top 5.
all right, I love it, man. I love it.
Cool. Well, I think that wraps it up for another week of the Dechambros. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Two brothers that just love golf, love gambling, and love having you guys with us every step of the way.
And love to argue just a little bit.
Yeah, from time to time. Anything else you want to add today, Tanner, before we go?
Love you, Bryson.